Hey there, what we're going to do now in this lesson is look at a riff that will help you get more, gain more technique with your power chords. And this, what I'll do is I'll break down the riff very slowly and then I'll play it to the metronome. The first thing to notice is that we're only going to be using one power chord shape for all the riff. So if we look at the first power chord, we're going to be playing the 7th fret on the E string. And then we'll play the 9th fret on the A string. And so this is called a B power chord because the root note, the lowest note of the power chord, is on the B note on the E string. So we're playing a B power chord or a B5 chord. And then the next chord is a C power chord, playing at the 8th fret. And then we go down to a B flat power chord at the 6th fret. And then we play that 4 times. And then we go back to a B power chord at the 7th fret. And then down to an A power chord at the 5th fret. And then back up to a B power chord at the 7th fret. And then up to the 8th fret, which is a C power chord, and then we're going to go down to the 6th fret, which is a B flat power chord, and we play that twice, and then we'll go down to the 5th fret, which is an A power chord, and then we'll move up to the 6th fret. Now what we're going to actually do with this riff is we're going to add palm muted open strings in between the chords. So just to quickly talk about palm muting, the idea with palm muting is you'll rest the fleshy part of your picking hand, so the heel of your picking hand, you'll be resting it just at the point where the string joins the bridge. So what I like to do is sort of start too far forward and you'll notice the note is completely dead. And then what I'll do is I'll move my hand a little bit back and then a little bit further back and then roughly to where I like to do it. So the key thing with palm muting is that when you change notes with your fretting hand, you should hear the change in pitch. So for instance, if I do it with the palm muting hand in the proper place and I play the 5th fret on the E string and then I change to the 8th fret on the E string, you'll notice you can hear those notes very clearly. However, if I have my hand too far forward towards the fretboard, the notes kind of sound way too deadened, so I'll just do that. And then again I'll move back to where your hand should be. Another thing to keep in mind is if you move your hand too far back that way, what happens is you end up having no palm muting because there's no part of your hand resting on the string, so that would sound like this. And if I do it with palm muting. Right, so those are the chords. What I'll do is I'll play through the riff to a metronome at a slow speed, so I'll start at 40 beats per minute, and this will give you a chance to actually hear what the riff sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4. you probably noticed I was sort of switching between chords that weren't palm muted and the open E string that was palm muted. So what you can do is actually turn that into a little exercise. So for instance, you could take any power chord on the two thicker strings. So if we take the B power chord, so if you strum the B power chord now, and then what you do is you take that chord off, so I relax my left hand and then I lift my index finger a little bit off the string. It allows me to play the open E string palm muted. So what you could do to practice this is to play the chord and then the palm mute. Chord, palm mute. Chord, palm mute. Chord, palm mute. And the idea is just to treat that as an exercise to help develop the coordination. Now the other thing I wanted to talk about is if you look at the tab on my website, you'll notice that there's a 3-beat rest in the last bar of the riff. So what I do there, a rest is really just silence. So what I do is I use the fleshy part of my hand and I rest it across all 6 strings to completely deaden the strings. So what I'll do is I'll just play through the riff again, and this time I want you to pay attention to the 4th bar when I bring this hand down to play the rest. So this time I'll do it a little bit faster at 60 beats per minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, 4. One, two, three, 4. Great. So you're noticing I was putting it down on beat 1 of the 4th bar. Probably the best bet is just to watch this video a few times and play along with me to get the timing. What I'll do is to finish off, I'll play the riff a little bit faster. I'll play it at 100 beats per minute and then I'll finish off at 160. So this is 100 beats per minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. And finally, we'll do it at 160. One, two, three, 4.